The meaning of Word of God. The following is the section on the meaning of the Word of God from a video I uploaded previously. It seems that in many cases those things which are somewhat ambiguous are given false and entirely overly complicated explanations which serve the interests of those making the claims. The truth, on the other hand, is often far simpler and more straightforward. Reality, after all, is not an intellectual exercise, but is simply what actually is. Anyway, on to the promised explanation of the meaning of Word of God. The book of Zechariah, beginning with chapter 1, verse 1, In the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of YAHUAH unto Zechariah, saying, chapter 1, verse 7, Upon the 24th day of the 11th month, which is the month Sabbath, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of YAHUAH unto Zechariah, saying, chapter 1, verse 9, And the angel who talked with me, chapter 1, verse 12, Then the angel of YAHUAH answered and said, O YAHUAH Sabaoth, how long will you have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah? Chapter 1, verse 13 through verse 14. And YAHUAH answered the angel who talked with me. So the angel who communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus saith YAHUAH Sabaoth. The first two quotes are intended to establish the fact that when Zechariah received a prophecy, he attributed it to the word of YAHUAH. The others are included because they are supportive, though not at all necessary to the confirmation of my claim as to the meaning of the Word of God. Continuing, Zechariah chapter 2, verse 9, And you shall know that YAHUAH Sabaoth has sent me. Chapter 2, verse 11, And you shall know that YAHUAH Sabaoth has sent me unto you. Chapter 4, verses 8 through 9, Moreover, the word of YAHUAH came unto me, and you shall know that YAHUAH Sabaoth has sent me unto you. Chapter 6 verses 9 through 15, And the word of YAHUAH came unto me, saying, And you shall know that YAHUAH Sabaoth has sent me unto you. Chapter 7, verse 1, The word of YAHUAH came unto Zechariah. Chapter 7, verse 4, Then came the word of YAHUAH Sabaoth unto me. Chapter 7, verse 8, And the word of YAHUAH came unto Zechariah. Chapter 8, verse 1, Again the word of YAHUAH Sabaoth came to me. Chapter 8, verse 18, And the word of YAHUAH Sabaoth came unto me. Chapter 11, verse 11, And so the poor of the flock knew that it was the word of YAHUAH. The point which I am seeking to establish with these quotes is that Zechariah's claimed prophecies regarding future events often included a comment to the effect that the fulfillment would confirm the origin of the prophecy from YAHUAH Sabaoth, Lord of hosts. It has become evident to me that the word of YAHUAH is the one that Zechariah claims is appending these comments to the delivered prophecies which it has carried from YAHUAH Sabaoth. It is evident in the Gospel according to John that the author identifies Jesus as this messenger agent. John chapter 1, verses 2 to 3, Same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 29, In the beginning, and God said, and God called, he called, and God said, and God called, and God said, and God called he, and God said, and God said, and God said, and God blessed them, saying, and God said, and God said, and God said, and God said. John chapter 1, verses 9 through 14, He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he the power to become sons of God, even to them who believe on his name. I contend that this refers to the Torah and prophets, and the Word was made flesh, and dwelt among us implies that this occurs after the events from the preceding verses. John chapter 3, verses 11 through 20, Verily, verily, I say unto you, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and you receive not our witness. If I have told you earthly things and you believe not, how shall you believe, if I tell you of heavenly things? And no man has ascended up to heaven, but he who came down from heaven, even the Son of Man which is in heaven. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He who believes on him is not condemned, but he who believes not is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God, his Word. And this is the condemnation, that light has come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds are evil. Chapter 4, beginning with verse 32, But he said unto them, I have meat to eat that you know not of. Jesus said unto them, My meat is to do the will of him who sent me, and to finish his work I sent you to read that were in you. Bestowed no labor, other men labored, and you have entered into their labors. Chapter 5, beginning with verse 19. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he sees the Father do. For all things soever he does, these also do the Son likewise. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he who hears my word, and believes on him who sent me. Note, you will note that YAHUAH Sabaoth has sent me as everlasting life. I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, because I seek not mine own will, but the will of the Father which has sent me. But I have greater witness than that of John, for the works which the Father has given me to finish, the same works that I do, bear witness of me. You have neither heard his voice at any time, nor seen his shape. And you have not his word abiding in you, for whom he sent, him you believe not. Search the Scriptures, and they are they which testify of me. I am come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. For had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if ye believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Chapter 6, verses 45 and 46. Every man therefore, who has heard, and has learned of the Father, comes unto me. Not that any man has seen the Father, save he which is of God, he has seen the Father. Chapter 7, beginning with verse 14. Now about the midst of the feast Jesus went up into the temple, and taught. And the Jews marveled, saying, How knows this man letters, having never learned? Jesus answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine, but his who sent me. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of God, or whether I speak of myself. And I am not come of myself, but he who sent me is true, whom you know not. But I know him, for I am from him, and he has sent me. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I and the Father who sent me. If you had known me, you should have known my Father also. You are from beneath, I am from above. You are of this world, I am not of this world. But he who sent me is true, and I speak to the world those things I have heard of him. Then you shall know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father taught me, I speak these things. And he who sent me is with me. The Father has not left me alone, for I do always those things that please him. If you continue in my word, then you are my disciples indeed. But now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth, which I have heard of God. He who is of God hears God's words. You therefore hear them not, because you are not of God. It is my Father who honors me. I know him, and keep his saying. If I do not the works of my Father, believe me not. But if I do, though you believe not me, believe the works, that you may know and believe, that the Father is in me, and I in him. He who believes on me, believes not on me, but on him who sent me. And he who sees me sees him who sent me. He who rejects me, and receives not my words, has one who judges him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment, what I should say, and what I should speak. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting, whatsoever I speak. Therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak now. Is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him? If God be glorified in him, God shall also glorify him in himself, and shall straightway glorify him. No man comes unto the Father, but by me. If you had known me, you should have known my Father also, and from henceforth, you know him, and have seen him. He who has seen me has seen the Father. And how do you say then, show us the Father? Do you believe not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The words I speak unto you I speak not of myself, but the Father who dwells in me, he does the works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me, or else believe me for the very works' sake. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he who believes on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. Chapter 16, verse 27. For the Father himself loves you, because you have loved me, and have believed that I came out from God. I came forth from the Father, and am come into the world. Chapter 17, verses 21 through 26, that they all may be one, as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that you have sent me. I realize that it may not have been necessary to include basically every single quote supportive of my claim, but I think that the sheer amount of material is telling, to say the least, as far as the intention of the author is concerned.